Want to build a successful game studio? Well, it takes a lot more than building a great game. You need to think strategically about the business of gaming and find that magic intersection of what the market wants and what your team can build. The other day, I was chatting with games investor Joakim Achrén, the founder of Elite Game Developers, and he shared 5 great pieces of advice for game studio founders. Let's get into it.
I do look at people who are exceptional, not thinking about the game, but thinking about the market, and then figuring out what game works for the market. That audience is actually super interesting. They're not being catered to at all. What could be a good game for that audience, and just focus on finding that game for the audience. I love that approach a lot more, and I'm seeing success in that approach a lot more than, oh yeah, I love this game, let's make this game. There was some moment in mobile games in the last 10 years where somebody could discover a genre where it required that somebody had the insight in the team. One of those companies is Small Giant Games with Empires and Puzzles. I think the company was, with the founding team, they were like experimenting with different kind of side-scrolling runner games and really simple casual products. And then they hired one creative from the outside who came in, and that person came up with the idea of Empires and Puzzles, and the whole company shifted into an RPG studio from making casual games, and a few years later Zynga bought them for almost $1 billion. So I think the lesson there is that the founders were malleable to shift when there was insights that they didn't know about. Like they had a hire that knew what needed to be done, and the founders were ready to embrace that kind of knowledge. You want to be searching into what you're going into and what are the challenges, and can you even build something that is venture backable? That's a big question that people don't really think about. What is something where you can win in this race of doing staged financing, where you're going to pre-seed, seed, series A, like that route? It's pretty easy to actually like think about, I need to grow this business in a certain way to actually have that staged financing path work for me. I think on the casual side, there's a lot of this under the radar gaming companies out there that are making big casual titles. They could have a portfolio of 20 casual titles combined, like run rate of 20-30 million a year. Like somebody's wanted to actually go after people who love evergreen games. So they started trying out different kinds of games. So like puzzle games, card games, things like that. I think that's an awesome business versus doubling down on one big game that you maybe soft launch in 2 to 3 years and you never know if it's going to work or not. It's quite tricky actually to start building a knowledge base about an audience. One way to do that is actually to bring on your team, people who worked with games, that the audience that you want to target. There's a teammate that you have that has experience from working with games that are for that audience, and you can learn from them and then start thinking, okay, what is that audience looking for right now? To actually have insights of what they had from previous work. I have so many questions for the founders usually, and like all of them boil down to like, how do they approach picking something that they want to tackle, the area where they want to go into? So I think there's many ways, but I think one of the best ways is to just be obsessed about figuring things out on your own.
To hear more great advice from Joakim, subscribe to his Elite Game Developers newsletter. The link is in the description. And if you'd like to hear our full conversation, watch this video. Let's get smarter together. I'll see you in the next video.